Hey everybody, so this video is going to be not like my normal other videos. This one's going to be a little bit more personal because in this video I'm going to go more in depth about my faith journey and the struggles that I had when I was trying to find my faith with God, but also a few key moments where I really felt connected with God. So yeah, I hope you guys like it. So my faith journey started when I was really little. I was born into a middle class Mennonite family, and they had very strict Christian values. However, my family was divorced, and so I had to deal with very different rules on different sides because one was much more lenient and laid back, whereas the other one was a strict Mennonite household. So that took a little bit of a toll on my faith. But what would life be without its ups and downs? So my life was very confusing, even from the beginning, because of my parents being divorced and having very different rules. I didn't know which was the right way. I didn't know whether I should be a strict Mennonite and try to connect with God by going to church every week, doing prayer, doing all these things, or if I should try to connect with God doing other things, such as just like living, like talking with Him, but not through prayer, just kind of expressing emotion with Him. And I didn't know which was the right way, which of course took a pretty big toll on my faith journey because I didn't have a clear path. Now, I just want to clear this first up. Because I say my life is confusing does not mean that I don't love my parents. I love all of them. I love my family. I love everything. And I was just confused when I was back then. I just didn't know what was right and what was wrong. I loved both sides, but obviously it took a toll on both sides. So I started off as a young boy who had to go to church every Sunday with his parents, which, little kids and being a young boy, you can't sit still. You always need to be doing something. So when I had to sit still and listen to this guy talk about scripture and do hymns and stuff like that, it was extremely boring for me, and I actually ended up dreading going to church because of that reason, because I didn't want to sit there and have somebody explain to me this. I wanted to learn in my own way. But because of me dreading it, it almost made it feel like I wasn't connected with God, or that He didn't even exist. And if He did exist, I didn't really care because I didn't want to be there. And the way I was taught was that church is where you go to feel connected to God. So if I didn't care about church, then I probably didn't care about God. And that's how my little me thought. And it just wasn't really good for my faith because I didn't have any faith at that point. This continued for many years until I got into middle school, which actually made it get worse. I'm not sure. I'm sure everybody has gone through middle school. Middle school years is the worst for everyone. Now, middle school was quite possibly the worst 3 years of my life. I was extremely depressed. I didn't know what was right and what was wrong. I was having so many different influences coming places. And I was growing, which of course takes, a little bit of a toll on me and how my brain works. But it even got to the point where that depression turned into suicidal. I was extremely lost in life, and I didn't know why God put me in this world, which of course kind of made it seem like God wasn't there or didn't care about me, and He wasn't there to help me. And obviously that took a huge toll on my faith and just on me as a person, because I wanted to have a connection with God. I was raised to try to have a connection with God. So when I didn't have it, I felt extremely depressed, and I was wondering, why did God put me into this world? I had lost all my faith. By high school, I was able to overcome my depression through working through therapy that my mom helped me with, as well as through a hospital that I had gone to for try to helping me get rid of the depression. But I still carried a lot of the burdens of that time because I hadn't fully healed, I guess you could say. I'd put a Band-Aid action over top of my depression, but every day it was kind of like a fight to keep wanting to be here, to live, to fight and be better. And I still did not really feel all that connected with God. One of my biggest problems when I was in high school was I wasn't very social, especially in my freshman year. I think that was partially because of my depression in middle school. I didn't want to talk to people because I thought that everybody would see me the way that I was, this bad person that had depression, that was struggling, and I didn't want people to see that, so I just decided not to talk to people. But that obviously took a strain on my social life, and that was something that I've worked for. I mean, my freshman year, along with COVID-19, that's when COVID-19 hit in freshman year. So I did online, which obviously didn't help my my social part of my life, but it also just made things worse. Like I couldn't get through, I couldn't make friends. It was a struggle. But then once I went back in person, I kind of learned what it was like to be social and normal again. So yeah. Then after my freshman year, this was when I really kind of just, I guess you could say, coasted. Because now that I had learned to be social, I was kind of learning social norms, and I kind of wanted to just fit in with everybody. I didn't care whether or not I was different. I just wanted to have people see me as the same person that's like buying the Yeezy slides, you know, getting all the cool stuff, cursing all the time, playing football, all of these things. I felt like I wanted to fit in. And obviously I did fit in for a while, and it was great. I made a lot of friends that way, and I'm not hating on football in any way. I loved football. I loved playing with my teammates. It was a great experience. But I really think that I originally started it just to fit in. Now this continued all the way up until my senior year. And once I got to my senior year, I had this thing called senior privilege, or at least what we call is like early release or late admission or something like that. So I wasn't really in school all day, and I kind of learned to be more independent per se. I was able to drive, I was able to, you know, get a job, do my own stuff. And in doing so, I kind of learned to find that like it's okay to not fit in. I found my own path and who I wanted to be, and I just ran with it. I learned from it. I continued to grow, and that's kind of what I'm still doing right now. I'm still growing. I'm still trying to learn who do I want to be. But of course, during this time, that was when I really saw that growth in faith. Now, here I am in, 2025 now, and I feel like my faith is in an entirely different spot. I mean, I've learned how I connect with him. I still, like, I go to church every so often, but I don't go nearly as much as I used to. And also, I've just kind of found my own way to connect with him through prayer, like just talking with him, like trying to connect with him in that. And it kind of feels like I've almost been revitalized. Like I'm really happy now. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to have that connection. I love talking to God. I love doing prayer, and I love doing outdoors things, especially out in nature. Like I did a hike with my girlfriend to Ricketts Glen State Park, and there were waterfalls. It was a great hike, but I really felt connected to God through nature, and I've kind of learned to grow in that way and to really go through faith in nature. So a big thing I do is like I go out for walks, and I really feel connected. And so stuff like that is something that I'm still learning how to do, but I feel like my faith, I have faith in God. I know that He has a plan for me. Even if I don't really know what it is, I know that He has a plan for me. So yeah, that has been my faith journey from when I was born till now. I've seen a lot of growth and a lot of change, and I mean this in a nice way, but it kind of took a lot for me to kind of come out and talk about this, because this is more of a personal thing for me to talk about, and I don't really like to share kind of stuff like this, especially not to YouTube or through a camera. But I thought it would be a good way to connect with my audience and kind of hear other people's stories, because I'm sure there are other people that have struggled with their faith, and just I really think that if you truly try to grow and improve yourself, you will grow with God as well, and you can connect with Him. So I guess I'm just trying to share my story, and see if you guys can connect with it in some way. If you did, feel free to comment or either, DM me on Instagram. I have an Instagram, and we could probably talk about that. But yeah, this has been my faith journey. It's ups and downs, it's struggles, it's high moments. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and God bless.